Shalom, coming to you in the name of Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone who taught me his truth, and salutations unto the Archim that continue to push the word in truth and in sincerity. And I'm going to entitle this video, Decrease for the Cause of Yahushai. And I'm just going to read a couple of verses from John, the 3rd chapter. And basically the point I want to get at is that we must decrease, man. It's very easy to get puffed up. It's very easy to talk of self and many other things, but essentially at the end of the day, we must decrease so that he may increase. Okay? This is the book of John chapter 3, and I'm going to start from verse 22, and it says, After these things came Yahushua and his disciples into the land of Judea, and there he tarried with them and baptized. And it wasn't Yahushua baptizing, it was the disciples. Okay. And John also was baptizing in Aenon near Salim, because there was much water there, and they came and were baptized. And John was not yet cast into prison. Then there arose a question between some of John's disciples and the Jews about purifying. Because when you check out baptism, it really goes back to the law of purification, immersing in water to become ceremonially clean again. Then verse 25, then there arose a question between some of John's disciples and the Jews about purifying. And they came unto John and said unto him, Rabbi, he that was with thee beyond Jordan, to whom thou bearest witness, behold, the same baptizeth, and all men come to him. Yahushua said, okay, John answered and said, a man can receive nothing except to be given him from heaven. Scroll down a bit. Ye yourselves bear me witness that I said I am not Hamashiach. Here it says the Christ, but it's really Hamashiach. But that I am sent before him. So basically, because Yahushua's disciples had been baptizing, and then John's disciples had seen John's baptism, they were asking the question, well, basically, whose baptism do we go on to? Basically, who do we follow? And John had to say, look, man, you are followers of me, but now it's time to follow him, man. Because the Messiah had just about started his ministry. Okay. John, you got niggas saying John wasn't in the truth. John could have, he was a righteous man, but, he could have been like, yeah, well, I've been doing the work, and I know it's about him, but I've been doing the work, so let me throw my 2 pence in and get some glory and fame right now. Then talk about all that I've done, and let me just hang on a little bit longer. No, he didn't do that, man. Okay, John knew it was time for me to go so that he can be glorified, man. He can have the full attention on him so that, he can preach the gospel, man. Okay, John admitted it. I am not the one. And there's a lot of people, that, I did a lesson earlier about, teaching the correct thing in the right way. Talking about yourself and what you may have done and what you've never done. If it comes up here and there, then fair enough. But a consistent, talking of self, is stifling, or an attempt to stifle the spirit, man. You can't stifle the spirit of the Lord, but it's like a audacious attempt to try and stifle out the spirit, man. Okay, you gotta let Yahweh Shai speak. You gotta let the Lord be glorified. You gotta let the Lord and His word come through, man. Okay, he that hath the bride is the bridegroom, but the friend of the bridegroom will standeth and heareth him, rejoiceth greatly because of the bridegroom's voice. This is the joy. Therefore, Salakio, because of the bridegroom's voice, this my joy therefore is fulfilled. He must increase, but I must decrease. Because John had a following, man. John had a following. Now, it's fine to have a following once you point your following to the Lord, man. Do men have followings now? Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. But once whoever's following you is pointing towards, once you point them towards Yahweh Shem Yoshai, that's all right. It's supposed to be followers of me even as I am of the Lord, man. But the main point here is in John 3 and 30. He must increase, but I must decrease, man. We've got to, when we preach, man, we've got to allow Yahweh Shai to be increased, man. Allow Yahweh Shai to be increased. When you teach, man, he that cometh from above is above all. He that is of the earth is earthly, and speaketh of the earth. He that cometh from heaven is above all. Okay? My mind goes to the transfiguration, which is like a whole nother lesson as well. I could tie it in, but I'm not going to. I'll probably do another lesson on that. But Peter wanted to build the 3 altars, one for Moses, one for Elijah, one for the Lord. Then the Most High himself responded from heaven, man, saying, this is my son, follow him, basically. There's no room for anyone else, man. There's no room for anyone else to be increased when Yahweh Shai is on the scene, man. And Yahweh Shai is on the scene, indeed. So guess what? It's our job to lift him up. That's why the scripture also says, I, even I, if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all men unto me. So it's our job to lift up Yahweh Shai. Okay? Not to lift up Yahweh Shai and say, hey, look at me too. I'm doing my part. No, man. We're just unprofitable servants, man. Like the scripture says, it's our job to lift up Yahweh Shai. Okay. So anyways, with that, I'm out, man. Shalom.